Hello and welcome to the coverage of the Champions League here from the heart of Colombo. Matara City Football Club take on St. Mary's in what is a decisive encounter for both teams following what was a brief the proceedings here at the Champions League. With police and are already setting a blistering place at the top of the table. Neither of these sides can afford to fall further behind. For Matara,
So thank you, Rishan. Good evening, and good evening to all our viewers as well. This,
all important midfield for the lads. Quite the challenge the team charges it can act as a great platform through which teams can really fight on the pitch. And that are extremely huge and as a that in very quickly important these teams keep that in and see examples over the this tournament about how as games have progressed, teams that were withered away
playing ball in the right part of the field as that's hoofed away. By the centre half of Matara City, but falls straight back in the hands, sends in a looping cross onto the left hand side, but a bit of a heavy goes out for the first goal kick of the game. That we've seen in this first 7 minutes is to by Deshan. It's that St. Mary's looking quite comfortable, and the way both teams are playing at the moment, the defense looks like it will eventually open up and continue to knock on the door. Yet again, winning the ball back middle third. But the hands of Lawyers finds Clifford. Ball has been they've won all those second balls as well, haven't they?
Absolutely, it's been all St. Mary's so far as we roll in towards the end of the first 10 minutes, and Matara City have barely got a kick in, and it's not what KD Lalit from their touchline would have wanted given their performance last weekend and how they performed against Police. A rather terrible loss. As of recent times, and once again a prime example of how not to defend some of those looping headers. The keeper needs to be doing better there, but you can't take the credit away from Lavani. Lavani's header just fantastic, able to get over the defender and the goalkeeper, but getting just enough purchase on it to trickle it over the line.
And St. Mary's just oozing with confidence now. You can see from the way they're moving around the park as well. That time left him a bit short, did Ruben Raj, Prince Clifford, but looks like he was fouled in the process. So no real damage done, and a bit of a talking to from the referee to number 18 of Matara City. That's Mohammed Nafil. And another set piece going the way of St. Mary's, and another set piece in the correct half of the field, Deshan. And the skipper behind this one, Nitarshan. John Lovani, goal scorer. It's been decent in these first 13 minutes. And a lovely loop-in header from him. Now here's St. Mary's in ideal real estate. Try and add to that advantage and add to the woes of Matara City. Everyone up for St. Mary's. Nitarshan cooks it to Ruben Raj. Gets it onto the edge of the box, but desperately gets in the way of that one. That's the Matara City defender. Now here's the Matara City men on the counter attack, but that pass is just overcooked. Left his teammate hanging out there on that left hand side, just unable to get to it, and a chance to try and test the goalkeeper for the first time today. Arkin has gone begging for Matara City, and here's St. Mary's in the build-up once again.
Absolutely, Anikan has had very little to do since kickoff, and once again it's rather apparent that unfortunately for Matara City supporters, it looks like their team, at least from the proceedings so far, looks like they are second best on the pitch, and that leaves a lot to be desired. And now it remains to be seen how they come back from this concession of a goal, and if recent experiences were anything to go by, they haven't had a lot of luck in doing that. But remains to be seen as the game opens up a little bit here. It's always the ideal spot in terms of a football match where you have that one goal lead, just enough for one team to want to chase it, and good enough for one team, or the other team rather, to try and get that second goal, but also show some defensive prowess, and that is exactly where this game is. And I think that next goal in this game, whoever may score it, will really set the tone for how the next 60 minutes or so will play out. Lavani immediately getting involved. Madhuka Sehan, he gives the ball away, and this is not what they need. Shot comes in, ricochets off Madhuka Sehan again, but once again the defense should be doing better. The ball now back in the box, and here's an opportunity for St. Mary's, and the ball cleared, but all that defensive work was a result of an initial mistake where the two defenders essentially were unable to read each other's movements, and the ball fall into the winger on the far side, and that's not good enough. But St. Mary's will not be complaining. Lavani with a beautiful touch and a shield. Ball now, and once again an opportunity now for St. Mary's to shoot. Very nearly, Madhuka Sehan with a beautiful tackle, and he manages to get the ball away. He's got his work cut out for him, and I think he's won the foul as well. But again, an opportunity coming out of nothing, because the defender with an absolute AR shot lets the ball work its way across the box, and that is not what you need, especially when you are one goal behind. So Matara City really need to get their act together.
Yes, lack of communication, you could say, between the defenders. There was the last chance for Danuma Gumbari, but expertly done there by Madhuka Shehan on that instance. But it was him that invited all that pressure, isn't it, Deshan? The defense for Matara all over the place, not closing down the attackers, and even the right fullback Nadil De Silva hasn't really been doing his job, hasn't been putting the pressure that he should be putting on Ruben Raj. He's whipped in already 3 or 4 crosses, and we're just in the first 17 minutes or so. And if this back four of Matara City don't tighten up, don't get their position in, and don't get their man right, it could get ugly for them soon.
Absolutely, that's why I said the second goal in this game is so important. If Matara City are able to get that second goal in this game, it really changes the dynamic in terms of how the game will proceed in the time beyond. But if St. Mary's are able to score a second goal and create that cushion, it's going to set it up nicely for a walloping like Matara City received last week, and that's not what you need in a league type tournament. It's Matara City now try to find that goal, loses the ball immediately, and here once again St. Mary's recycling possession.
This time Nimna Kachira tracking back to close down Ruben Raj before he could release the ball. And Matara City winning the throw-in inside the correct half of the field, but again just conceding possession way too easily in midfield, isn't it, Deshan? Prince Clifford, especially in that midfield for St. Mary's, has been a nuisance to Matara so far. Hasn't allowed them to get into the attack in third, but just as I say that, they've gone and won their first corner of the game. And chasing a game, you need to make the set pieces count, isn't it? Especially when they've been few and far between, as it has been for Matara so far.
Absolutely. Ravindu Samira, they are leaving this corner for Mohammad Nafil to take. Mohammad Nafil whips it in, an elevated corner, the ball comes in. Anikan gets a hand to it, not very convincing, but the ball pushed away, and Gumbari with a fantastic interception once again, and this has been the story of the game. A beautiful pass, support on the far side, and fantastic defense again from Madhuka Shehan. He's a wall at the back there, but you have to beg the question. Gumbari there getting the ball and creating an opportunity from nothing because of carelessness really in possession. Madhuka Shehan takes his chances, and with a last ditch effort, it's always dangerous, those tackles, because here's a look at that one again. Gumbari takes a touch, nice little pass into the box, options on either side, but John Loyas deciding to go on by himself. Like I was saying, those last ditch tackles can really go one of two ways. Because if you are the last man and you take the man down with you, that is a red card. So, brave play by the Matara City defender. And they have it all to do, Matara City, but unfortunately or fortunately, it looks like they are giving themselves everything to do as well.
Yes, but you have to admire the intent by St. Mary's as well. We said this before, they are the first to those second balls, and that's exactly what Gumbari did on that occasion as well. As for the chance, I thought Lois could have done a bit better, had support coming in from the right hand side, as you said, to just maybe flash that across the face of the goal. Tried to go by himself. It's another corner by the looks of things for St. Mary's. They broke the deadlock of their previous corner. They'll be trying to do something again here, as John Lois heads out to that corner flag, whip it in with his left foot, and has some big presences in that penalty box as he loops this one in again. Here's Prince Clifford, flashes just wide of the left hand post. St. Mary's have come mighty close yet again to add in the second goal. Well, looks like the final touch did come off a Matara City defender. As you take a look at the replay there, Clifford leaping above the wrist. And that centre half in the right place at the right time for Matara City to just nudge that one away. But end result is another corner to St. Mary's. Taken short this time. Here's Lawyers.
Lawyers with a nice little pass there, and the shot coming in from distance, not really going anywhere, but sustained pressure from St. Mary's. And as you said rightly, Nathan, the first goal rightly deserved by the lads in blue, and it looks like a second goal is coming. Matara City really need to get their act together, and as I say that, they once again turn over possession with a lazy pass.
Just asking all the questions at the moment, St. Mary's. Prince Clifford pulling the strings once again. Here's Lawyers trying to twist pass, doubled up on, but just caught in the shin there by Nafil. Take a look at the replay. It's just caught him from the back there, and that is textbook foul. Ball given away on halfway once again. St. Mary's. Ball at the feet of their skipper, Nitarshan. Everyone up for St. Mary's, bar Clifford. And why not when you've got all the momentum swinging your way like this, as Nitarshan floats it into the box.
Fantastic cross there by Nidarshan, or ball in rather by Nidarshan, with a lot of bite in it. At Matara City now with an opportunity to try and create something out of it. Once again, ball turned over in transition. This is not good enough from the Matara lads. Prince Clifford picks it up, tries to create something with it, and the clearance once again immediately turning possession over. Under no pressure there, the Matara City defence, but turning the possession over. And quick throw in taken by Abhishek. Abhishek finds his teammate, now ball recycled back again. Spread out to the far side. The Moragas Mulla lads are having substantial amounts of joy here as Marison. Ball crossed across to the other side. Lavani just inches offside there. He couldn't believe it, but
Lavani caught offside for the second time today. Good runs, but just needs to time them a bit better. And so far hasn't done much wrong, as Lavani leading the line for St. Mary's. So once again, Nidarshan first to the loose ball. Here's Gumbari, has a winger darting run to the edge of the box, unleashes the shot and just fizzes over the crossbar. What a powerful stroke that was from Marison. Asking all the questions at the moment, St. Mary's. And a lovely opportunity created in transition once again by that man Gumbari. Found his winger in space, and that was just a foot or so away from being the second goal.
And once again, yet another drive down. Here's an opportunity. Madhuka Shehan with yet another fantastic challenge to leave the ball outside his goal, and absolutely furious Isaac Adevu as well. And in this battle of North and South, very clearly there's only one victor in sight. A beautiful driving run there, Prince Clifford. Nice little ball coming in, but it would have been 100% in the back of the net by Marison if Madhuka Shehan had something to do about it. And another wave of attack now by St. Mary's. Madhuka Shehan once again getting in the middle of that, and here's the shot. Gumbari, and the second effort as well. No, it's come back. Gumbari somehow manages to find the ball again on the edge of the box. Elevated effort, and Rasika Sampath making no mistakes on that occasion, but wave after wave of blue attack. They really do have some cause for concern. I think from a neutral perspective, Nathan, what Matara City need to do is they need to kill this game every chance they get. They need to slow it down, break that momentum, and give St. Mary's some work to do every single time they pick up the ball. Instead, what seems to be happening is they seem to be giving the ball straight back to their opponents every single chance they have, and allows wave after wave of attack. They need to get in with the dark arts and really slow this game down, break it apart a little bit in order to stop this rhythm that the Jaffna lads have been creating. And now is an opportunity for Matara City to hold on to the ball a little bit.
I don't think they've even strung 5 or 6 passes together, isn't it, Deshan, in any passage of play before this. This is a lot better from Matara, just keeping the ball at their feet. And that's the right thing to do in any sport. When you're under the pump, it's important that you slow things up, isn't it? That's what Matara need to do. Not invite any more further pressure from St. Mary's. Just as I say, that ball loose once again in midfield and falls straight into the hands, feet of Prince Clifford. But unfortunately not on the same wavelength as Ruben Raj on that occasion. Left that left hand flank open, and Nadil De Silva recovers. But yet again, Deshan just don't have it in them to string those passes together to maintain a few phases of possession. And again, rush of blood to the head there, trying to chip it over the top, but has sent it out of bounds, and possession turned over once again.
Madhukar Shehan putting a foot wrong after a while. He's been rather solid over the course of his game, so was a rarity, but not.
Idea right on that occasion from Matara. Spotted the space, did Nafil, but unfortunately Chirat just didn't make that run. Possession back with St. Mary's, and a rare touch of the ball for Arnikan in goal today. Yes, Lavani. Ball once again with Matara. Last 5 to 10 minutes or so, Deshan, they've just managed to slow things down, although they haven't got that final pass right. But a step in the right direction nonetheless for Matara. If they can go into half time like this, or even find an equalizer before the break, they'd be more than pleased, considering the way that they've started this game. But just as I say that, possession turned over once again. Here's Ruben Raj stepping past two. Skipper there to make the clearance. Loyas finds Mathivathanan out in space. Fizzes it into the center. Here's Gumbari, puts his head down. Just needs to float this one in. Here's Lavani for his second. But Adevu, desperate in defense there. Just manages to send that over the crossbar. But St. Mary's turning defense into attack in a jiffy and very nearly doubling the advantage.
Absolutely, and if you were to look at it, I think maybe Lavani a bit too passive with that effort. First time and it's going back into the back of the net. But Gumbari again is fantastic with that yard of pace. Had Lavani hit it first time, it takes that time away for the defender to get his body across. But anyway, it's a corner now. Swung in to the back post. Not really going anywhere. Little all over the place on that occasion. Sadev Rashmita trying to create something, but no, it's yet another wave of attack now. St. Mary is back in the box, back among the goals maybe, and Isaac Adeu manages to get in the way. Nadil De Silva on the ball, looking for that pass. He's not got a lot of options. And on the far side, there's no one breaking, there's no one running into those spaces. Everyone's taking their time walking around, and that needs to change for Matara City FC if they want to create something. Particularly on the counter, it's so important you get bodies up and you get bodies moving at pace up the pitch to create that overload that we hear so much about these days. And a very careless pass from Arnikan on that occasion.
That's just proven your point, hasn't it, Deshan? A loose pass that Matara City really failed to press on, failed to capitalize on, you could say. If that same mistake was made at the other end of the field, you know for sure that those St. Mary's forwards would have rushed up, try and force the issue. Yes, as things stand, 30 odd minutes played in the first half, 1-0 to St. Mary's. Could be one more. Lavani with another tease in header. This time just wide of Sampath's left post.
It's not an easy skill there on the cards, as the ball is whizzed in from this right flank and sent across. But Lavani, not a very easy skill, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure that you position your body the right way and hit the ball at the right angle, at the right height, so that you get the right direction and generate the right power in order to beat the goalkeeper. But fantastic effort nonetheless. Very nearly gets it right, but a little bit of trip on Metabor. The ball's worked its way for a goal kick. Ravindu Samira, he's not had a lot to do so far this game. But, caught on the Achilles there, Metabor.
St. Mary's will be eager to add a second before the break, isn't it? As Nitarshan with some lovely skill there. But like I was saying, they've had plenty of chances, isn't it, Deshan? As Nadil De Silva has hit the turf there. Not quite sure what happened. Didn't look that rough in real time. We'll take a look at the replay. Here's Ruben Raj. Short pass, and it's Nadil that's probably in the wrong there, isn't it?
But I think Nathan, I think if you were to look at Nadil De Silva, the problem he's got there is that he's been stamped on. And looking at it from this perspective, I think you have a case to suggest that maybe It was an intentional one. We'll see if we can get you another replay of that stamp, which is bound to be a contentious moment in this game. And while the coaching staff get the instructions across, our production team is going to try and get you that replay so that we can see it once again. Nadil De Silva definitely has a case. Prince Clifford, a very lucky man. Gonna have another look at that. Here it is. Quick pass coming in from Ruben Raj, and just there, that looked very intentional to me, Nathan.
Yes, Prince Clifford.
He's a very lucky man that the referee didn't see it for what it was. Oh, so it is a card, and he has been given his marching orders, and in my opinion, rightfully so. It wasn't one of those heat of the moment stamps. It is very apparent that the phase of play involving the ball had finished, and immediately following that, there was a premeditated stamp on Nadil De Silva's leg. And now, from a commanding position, St. Mary's have now made the whole situation substantially more difficult for themselves than it needed to be.
Yes, can't disagree with you there, Deshan. And Prince Clifford just let in his frustration, so was dispossessed by Nadil and immediately stamped on. Would have won the foul if he had just walked away, but rush of blood to the head at the wrong time for St. Mary's. They've gone down to 10, not even completed 45 minutes here. Still just the one goal on the card, and suddenly the script could be completely flipped here if Matara City are able to pull their socks up, and St. Mary's will be ruined those 2 to 3 close calls that they had at the other end of the field. Yeah, you see again, just pushing Miktas down to the floor there. And St. Mary and Matara City rather, we need another set piece. 40 yards or so out. The entire team can now afford to really rush up into the St. Mary's penalty box because they've got that numbers advantage as well. Floats it in. Rising highest there was Ruben Raj to hoof it away, but ball won once again in midfield by Matara City. And you have to say Prince Clifford's absence has a lot to do with that, isn't it, Deshan? He was really pulling the strings in midfield before being sent off, winning those second balls, turning possession over, and they're going to miss that for the next 50 minutes or so.
Absolutely, that combination play between Gumbari and Prince Clifford really driving the attack for St. Mary's, but it's interesting to see what Ratnam Jasmine now does, particularly as we roll into half time and he's getting the opportunity to speak to some of his players. It's going to be interesting to see how he orders his troops to change the structure of the team. And the ball comes in very nearly into the back of his own net, and going for a corner. Matara City, it looks like the luck is turning. They need to take advantage of these opportunities. And very, very nearly.
Really had Anikan scrambling there, would have had his heart in his mouth for a moment. Not the best of touches from OK Metobo. And a corner to Matara City now. They'll miss Clifford in the corners as well, was one of their taller players for St. Mary's. On the end of the second ball is Miktas. Miktas dribbles past a couple, but is won back by Lavani, and Lavani now sends his attacker on his way. but did well to track back there. Still falls for Gumbari, but off his line in quick time is Rashika Sampath. That's some good goalkeeping there. Take a look at the replay. Was already called offside. Rashika Sampath rushing off his line. And St. Mary's showing that they've still got it on the counter attack, isn't it, Deshan? So I don't think they'll want to change too much over that half-time break. They know that the attackers have got that extra yard of pace on the Matara City defenders. They can afford to really soak up that pressure and launch a counter-attack when necessary. Yes, Matara once again. Lavani takes it off Nadil's toes. And some good work there by the striker. Winning the throw-in as well. 2 minutes and injury time left in this first half. Been a first half that has had it all so far. Here's Lavani holding it up.
Absolutely, but goals and cards and a little bit of argy-bargy, which is the right mix when it comes to entertaining football, and that exactly has been the story here at the Racecourse International Stadium. So we've still got 3 halves of football left today. So if you are in the area, don't hesitate to swing by and enjoy some football. And that's exactly what Matara City is doing here. Nafil. And here's an opportunity collected by Anika and Sadhu Rashmita with the initial bit of footwork to open it up on the right flank and trying to send it across, but St. Mary's now one final major attack and they get goal side. Once again, Madhukar Shehan in the thick of it, just beaten for pace on that far side, and he puts his hand up and says yes, that is indeed a foul, but he's managed to stop that attack.
It's incisive ball there though from Abhishek, and Shehan forced to commit that foul. Looks like he's talked his way out of a booking as well. But once again, St. Mary's showing that they've got it on the counter. Winning a set piece could potentially be the last attack of the first half. 2 additional minutes left to come after these 10 seconds. That's whipped in by Abhishek. Couldn't get on the end of it, Morrison. Ball looks like it's going out off bounds, and it's another throw into St. Mary's as we enter the 2 minutes of stoppages for this first half. St. Mary's would really love to close this out with another goal. Taken long there, but too long as Rashika Sampath's allowed to collect. Releases the ball in quick time. But St. Mary's quickly in position defensively. Winning the ball back, and now it's floated up to Lavani. Here's Lavani for his second again. But a heavy touch. Takes it just behind the goal. And another chance goes begging for St. Mary's, and Lavani not taking the touches when he needs to.
Absolutely, and if Lavani had managed to send that goalwards after doing everything fantastically, brilliantly, you'd assume that the conversation at halftime would be very different despite the red card as well. And now, still a glimmer of hope in the eyes of Matara City.
Ratnam just been there, barking orders out to his players. Matara. Just a minute or so left in this first half. Some quick ball here is needed to get up the correct half of the field, and that's exactly what comes. Lovely through ball, and looks like he's been caught on the edge of the 18-yard box as well there by Metobo. And
one final opportunity for Matara City FC on the cards. A free kick in a dangerous area.
Lovely through ball there, wasn't it? And a dangerous boot from Metobo. Lucky that the referee didn't go into his pocket. But a free kick in striking distance for Matara City. Chance to go into half time with the scores level. If they are able to make this chance count. Looks like it's Isaac Adevu behind this one. He's got a powerful boot on him. And Jasmine watching rather gingerly.
So one final opportunity now for Matara City to change the narrative going into the halftime interval. And got a couple of men behind it. Mohammad Miktas seems to be the man who's claimed ownership of it. Afil was around it also. Miktas hits the wall, and the referee decides no time for a corner kick and blows for the halftime interval. So that is the short whistle. And at halftime, everything seemed to be going in St. Mary's favour. And despite all that, a moment of absolute madness from Prince Clifford has now opened the door once again for Matara City. Not to forget that St. Mary's had multiple opportunities to increase their cushion as well, but they've not been effective enough in front of goal to do just that. And as we run into the halftime interval, it's St. Mary's 1, Matara City 0.
Take a look at the only goal in that.
and gentlemen, let's welcome back the teams of Matara City and St. Mary's for the second half.
John Lavani header, helped by a bit of a howling goal for Rashika Sampath. And after that, a rush of blood to the head of Prince Clifford. Saw him given his marching orders for the game. And St. Mary's Hello and welcome back to the second half action in this week 4 Sri Lanka Football Champions League clash between Matara City Football Club and St. Mary's Football Club. Game 13 of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League. Both teams here in desperate need of a win. So we take a look at what unfolded in the first 45 minutes. St. Mary's really forcing the issue in the first 25 to 30 minutes. That was the only goal. Loop-in header from Lavani, and from then on few really good chances for St. Mary's, but just unable to add anything to that scorecard. Matara City were really on the back foot. Gumbari was a real live wire. Lavani had, you could say, maybe a couple of chances that he should have put away, but just unfortunately not having that final touch. And that was a real turning point in the first half there. Rush of blood to the head of Prince Clifford, who played exceptionally up until that point. Just stamping on Nadil. Referee showing no mercy to him. And St. Mary's will have to play this second 45 with just the 10 men on the park. Luckily for them, they do have the one goal cushion, but Matara have really grown into this game. But just a bit of uncoordinated attack. Not really getting their game plans right. They haven't been able to really test Arnikan in the first half, but I'm sure KD Lalit would have laid down his orders to them, and they'll come into this second half. It's a rejuvenated energy. Try and trouble Arnikan and the St. Mary's defense and try and turn this game in their favor, as it's a welcome back to Deshan for this second half.
Absolutely, Nathan. I think based on the shape we are seeing early doors following that red card, St. Mary's with a bit of a Christmas tree formation. Here's an opportunity now, and very nearly he's wrestled his way out, and Adevu is absolutely furious with Rasika Sampath, and rightfully so. He should be coming out and claiming that in the box, and Adevu does everything to hold off his man. The ball very nearly finding its way into the back of the net, but Rasika Sampath really should be commanding his box. But like I was saying, and once again, St. Mary's lose the ball. Here's an opportunity now. Referee says play on. The shot comes in, and it's... what a miss. And Lavani will be cursing himself. Two fantastic opportunities, this time dispossessing Rusiru Lakshan. And he should be hitting the target on that occasion. It baffles me what the other defender was doing. Instead of closing down the space, and the game really opening up from the very get-go in this second half.
Yes.
Props there, I have to say, Nathan, to Ratnam Jasmine, who has decided to keep two attackers up front for St. Mary's. They're playing more of a Christmas tree formation, 4 at the back, 3 in the middle and 2 up front, without the red-carded Prince Clifford. So it goes on to show that he is in fact still very serious about the attacking intent of this side.
And why not Deshan, when the Matara City defenders are pulling off howler after howler like this? We spoke about this before halftime as well. They've got that quality to keep the two attackers on the park, not change that front line, and that's exactly what they're doing. And two golden chances in 30 seconds missed by Lavani there. The second one, you have to say, is criminal. Should at least hit the target with that, but it still remains 1-0. And in the first 2.5 minutes in this second half, asking all the questions as Gumbari darts in once again, turns over possession. Here's the shot coming in from range, and forcing a brilliant save out of Rashmiga, or just fizzed wide. But what an effort that was from the St. Mary's midfielder.
And
looks like Matara are the team with 10 men on the park, isn't it?
absolute an electric start to this second half. St. Mary's, all guns blazing and all out attack seems to be the order of the day for them. And like you said, Matara looking like they are a man short.
Once again, Ruben Raj pouncing onto that loose ball. Unfortunately, has gone out, and first set piece in favor of Matara. They can use this to try and slow the game down. They look shell-shocked in the first 3.5 minutes. Yes, Gumbari though, once again. One change at the break for St. Mary's. Kingsley on for Abhishek, who I thought was exceptional in that first half. But still, Coach Jasmine, probably a tactical shift from him. And they've gone and won the first set piece of the second half. The first foul of the second half, rather, in favor of St. Mary's. On the just about 35 yards out from the goal. The skipper, Nidarshan, behind it. Looped in, and here's the header. Fizzers wide, but that's deflected in. And that's the second goal for St. Mary's. They've asked all the questions in the first 4.5 minutes. And Jasmine is rightfully delighted. What an effort it is from them. Nidarshan floated it up beautifully, and what a run that was. Just loops it into the far corner. Sampath couldn't react in time.
And absolutely straight out of the training sessions there. Morrison, straight out of the training pitch and executed to absolute perfection here. Rasika Sampath again. Nathan, you can question, should he have come out for that, and should he have punched that one away? He was stranded on his goal line. And to be fair by him, he didn't get the requisite support from his teammates as well, but you have to ask the question of whether he did enough.
Yes, probably should have come off his goal line, Deshan, but you have to say at this level he should have the skill to even go full stretch and try and save that effort. Unfortunately for Sampath, his goalkeeping has been found wanting in this game. On that instance, could do neither.
And immediately, once again, turning over possession. Ratnam Jasmine, he's taken a risk. Do I go all out attack in this game? And he's decided, yes, I do, and it's paid off fantastically.
Yes, Matara. One change for them as well over the interval. Ashka on for Hansaka De Silva. First bit of possession for them. Ball is loose, but headed back to Arnikan. Collects. He's had a real quiet day at the office so far, Arnikan. Don't think Matara have got a single shot on target in this first 50 minutes set, despite playing 20 of those minutes with an extra man on the park. Like I was saying just before we began, uncoordinated attack, it has been the problem for Matara. And for if anything that we've seen in the first few exchanges of the second half is to go by, it's uncoordinated in defense as well.
Absolutely, and little things like losing the ball there to St. Mary's, once again given away very cheaply by the Matara lads. Gumbari taking his time, losing the ball, getting it straight back, and once again Fantastic play. The yellow card on that occasion. Just have another look at that.
Rushed in, probably didn't really have a chance of getting on the end of that one. Correct call from the referee. And it's St. Mary's with another free kick. In strike it distance, made the last one count. He'll be hoping to do the same of this one as well. Nidarshan, goal scorer, lurking on his left. No one tracking him from Matara. Floats it onto the right once again. Here's Matebu. Unfortunately, couldn't get the direction on that header. And still really promising from St. Mary's to start out this second half. Here's Sadev Rashmita. Ball just going out of bounds and turned over once again rather easily. And the first touch of the ball for Jerushan, who's come off the bench for this second half. Lovely through ball to Gumbari once again. Returns the favour to Lavani. Sadev Rashmita, the man booked there, but it's quite concerning for Matara, isn't it, Deshan? How just a couple of passes can cut them right open, going straight down the middle. Absolutely no hesitation from St. Mary's, despite being a man down. And that really speaks volumes of the, you could say, the gap between these two teams.
Absolutely, and I think you phrased it best when you said that Matara City look like they are the team with 10 men. Madhuka Shehan gets that ball out of bounds. But the story has been rather bleak for the Southerners. As every single time St. Mary's has been on the front foot, they've cut across completely and played almost through this defense with little to no resistance. And that, given that there has been a red card as well, is considerable cause for concern, as now St. Mary's time to break there with Jerushan. Jerushan looking for a yard of pace, didn't quite get that, but now Rasika Sampath with the opportunity to get rid of it. Adevu.
Here's Matara, nearly lost it in midfield once again. Ball has fallen kindly here for Rashmika. Rashmika dribbling through and forces Anika Akinan into action for the first time today. But first real chance for Matara City. First shot on target coming through Sadev Rashmita. And forcing a good save out of Anikan. And he's done well there. It's very easy as a goalkeeper to switch off, isn't it, Deshan, when your team is in the ascendancy. Not caught on his heels though on that occasion.
Absolutely, and it's also more difficult when you've not been tested the entire game, but you're suddenly called into action. Cross coming in here. Ball hoiked in, and very nearly Anikan punches it away. Not very convincing. An opportunity still for Matara City. And an effort. Trying to be cheeky there on that occasion, but Nimna Kachirat, he's got an eye for flair. Not able to quite keep it down.
Just thought that Ravindra Samira could have hit it there, isn't it, Deshan? Anikan was backpedaling as well, was caught out of position when he came out to punch that. But nonetheless, encouraging signs for Matara City, albeit it's taken them 55 minutes to get their first shot on target. They
Absolutely. They have all the tools, I think, Nathan, to get back into this game. They've got the time, they've got the team, they've got the man advantage. So it's not a complete write-off yet.
Nidarshan behind the dead ball once again. more than happy to go route one. Albeit overcooked this time, Gumbari. Out jumped there by Rashika Sampath. Yes, Devu. Something that teams usually do, Deshan, when their upper man is just work the ball from right to left a couple of times. That can really send the opposition defense scrambling. And then just look to send in that incisive pass when the defense does open up. But unfortunately, Matara haven't been doing that, as you can see again. Just going route one. Ball fell kindly for Ravindu Samira, but just couldn't get his shot away. But like I was saying, maybe just keep hold of the ball for a few phases of play. Open up that defense. Just need to be a bit calm here, Matara. The moment you sense that they're just trying to do too much.
Well, I agree. And to be fair, I think they've tried to do that on occasion, but where it's been wanting is in those transitions while they're moving the ball, particularly across the midfield. They've lost the ball on countless occasions, and it hasn't really allowed for a sustained period in which they can do exactly that. And that has been the story of their game so far, as they lose the ball once again. And what St. Mary's has been very good at doing is two things. The press resistance, both as a team and on an individual level, particularly the likes of Gumbari and Lavani, and before his red card, Prince Clifford has been fantastic, as we now see a substitution, Lavani coming off for Prem Kumar. Prem Kumar had quite the battery on him last time he played.
Jersey number 26, John Lavani is replaced by jersey number 7, M. Prem Kumar.
So Lavani will go back onto the bench, thinking he could have had a substantially more considerable impact on this game than he has had. But as I was saying, the press resistance both the players and the team have shown has been far better than that of Matara City FC, who, whenever they felt a bout of pressure, conceded the ball and turned it over.
Yes, as you correctly mentioned, Deshan still winning that midfield battle. St. Mary's, we thought they'd miss Prince Clifford in that pivot, but doesn't look to be the case.
And to Ratnam Jasmine's credit, what he has done fantastically well is in that 4-3-2 formation that we can see being occupied by St. Mary's. He's pushing the two fullbacks from the back four towards the middle of the pitch and essentially creating a five-man midfield of sorts. Yes, absolutely. And it's a fantastic strategic way to satiate for the lack of support in the middle of the park and the lack of numbers given the red card. But it has been working for them really well so far. And that has been the cake, but the icing has certainly been the strategic plays, particularly off of set pieces, which they've also been fantastic in today.
Yes, certainly Deshan has another set piece that's desperately headed away, and Gumbari has pressed nicely and won the line out. Gumbari has had an exceptional game so far in this first hour of play. Take a look at the replay. Morrison, he'll be using with confidence as well. He's on the score sheet. And everyone up in the penalty box for St. Mary's. This time the long throw doesn't find its intended target. Falls kindly to Matara City. Ball quickly at the feet of Sadev Rashmi that needs to unleash the shot, but straight into the body of Nitarshan. Skipper like a rock in defense for St. Mary's, keeping the Matara City attackers at bay for now. Bit of a slip there from Matebo, and bit of a heavy touch as well. Allows Anikan to rush off his line and just apply just enough pressure to force the shot wide from Ravindu Samira on that occasion. But Matara City, last 5 to 10 minutes or so, they've had a couple of chances. We take a look at the replay there. Matebo should have got on the end of that. And there Anikan did just enough on that occasion as the ball has found Gumbari once again, dribbling through a couple of players there.
It's all in the turn there from Gumbari. He takes 2 players out with that turn. And just as he was breaking Mohammad Miktas, and a fantastic turn there, Devu all ends up beaten. Gumbari, he's been fantastic over the course of the game.
Yes, and he's shifted positions as well, hasn't he, Deshan? Looks like after that red card he's dropped into that midfield. And when you've got a lethal turn like that, why not play in midfield?
Absolutely, playing more of as a 10 than a 9. So essentially it's 2 10s without a 9. That's kind of how St. Mary's are playing at the moment. And the ball comes in. Here's a fantastic opportunity, and you'd have assumed that given how good that chance was, that you'd have seen it hit the back of the net. But on that occasion, Matebo there should be getting a better connection on that. It looked like it almost came off his shoulder. That could have been 3. So if by some chance Matara City are able to turn this game around, St. Mary's will only have themselves to blame. Despite the red card, they've had the chances.
Yes, again, lack of coordination, isn't it? No one tracking Matebo, not the goalkeeper, not his centre halves. All just in 6s and 7s, just looking at each other. And no one actually doing the defending for Matara. And again, St. Mary's have just shot up the field in just a couple of phases. And it's really concerning for Matara, not just in this game but in the broader context of the league as well, that it only takes 2 or 3 passes to cut open their defense, and that's something they'll really have to work on.
And that's something we've seen from them throughout the season, particularly against Police as well. And Rasika Sampath's rather questionable decisions in goal does not do them any more favours as well. And the referee granting yet another foul to St. Mary's, and it looks like it's Matobo who on the turn is caught. Have another look at that one. See, absolutely Matobo caught by Rusiru Lakshan, who was going to clear the ball but hits Matobo's leg in the process.
Yes, blatant foul there. And a free kick to St. Mary's. And I'm sure Nidarshan is fancying his chances at really testing Rasika Sampath, who, as we said, has been shaky. Really need to get this next set piece on target if they are going for the direct route.
And a fantastic area for a free kick as well. Some words there between Anikan and his defender on that occasion, Mohammad Nafil. He's been a bit quiet over the course of this game. Anikan has had one big save to make. But like I said, an absolute cue there for this free kick.
Looks like it's Lawyers to take. Nidarshan floats it in but hits the wall. Nidarshan has a chance on the volley once again. That's floated up. Here's Lawyers to Gumbari. Gumbari tries to turn. He's fouled in. Was begging for the foul rather. And that final shot from Lawyers is just skewed wide, and that's a chance gone begging, you have to say, for St. Mary's. Gumbari there still pleading his case, but looked a bit soft in real time. Nonetheless, ball still at the feet of St. Mary's. Here's Gumbari. Lovely 1-2 with his left winger. Ball has fallen to him. Here's Gumbari. Forces a save out of Rashika Sampath. You could say St. Mary's just kept the ball for a bit too long. They should have got the shot off a lot quicker than that. Gumbari. Good header from him, but Rashika Sampath at full stretch managed to make that save. Probably the best save he's made in this game to keep the score at 2-0. And now here's Matara. 1-2 on the right hand side. Hansaka. And the ball has found Rashmita. Rashmita takes it out wide, but just a lack of support. The ball has been turned over once again to St. Mary's, winning the throw-in. And that's exactly what St. Mary's have done right in this game.
Gumbari, despite all his attacking prowess, has shown an absolute commitment to his defensive work as well. And here's an opportunity now over Madhuka Shehan, and very nearly falling for the attacker, but Rasika Sampath comes out well to claim it, and the ball lost immediately here. Here's an opportunity for St. Mary's, and a hopeful pass, and it's an opportunity for Gumbari, who's unable to send it goalward. It's a goal kick, but he should be doing better given his quality. And once again, St. Mary's are knocking on the door, Matara City giving them the key.
Yes, just handing it to a platter, handed it to them on a platter at the moment, as you said, Deshan. Another look at that chance. Rashika Sampath claiming on that occasion, but Gumbari should have at least got it on target from that range. Yes, St. Mary's once again, but ball this time settles at the feet of Matara City, but they've just passed it right back to St. Mary's. Can't keep the ball at their feet for more than 2 to 3 minutes, this Matara Sports Club outfit. And here's St. Mary's once again, looping it in from the left hand side this time, headed away by Adivu. And a bit slow for Matara City. Just need to rush up there, isn't it, Deshan? Everyone's scattered. No real intent shown by Matara City.
And also the shape, I think, Nathan, is another part of it. Like you're not seeing a commitment to one shape. As for St. Mary's, you can see the 4-3-2 in the way they've set up. That makes it difficult to break down. But for St. Mary's, you know that back four is a back two, sometimes the back three, sometimes, and you're not really seeing any structure in how they're playing, and that is showing in the way they play as well. Isaac Adewu winning that ball fair and square in the referee's opinion, and rightfully so. Jafran not blowing the whistle, but they've lost it immediately again. St. Mary's pushing forward. Here's an hopeful ball coming in for Gumbari, but just lacking that yard of pace to catch up with that one. Rasika Sampath coming out to claim it. But again, St. Mary's winning the ball in a dangerous area. Gumbari looking for that 1-2 pass, and he finds a pass on the near side. Looking for a cross, and here's an opportunity very nearly. Going for a corner kick on that occasion. Rusiru Lakshan putting it away, but once again, chance after chance coming because of cheap concessions of possession.
You see, they've made it all too easy for St. Mary's, haven't they? There once again, forcing the that last-ditch effort from Rusiru Lakshan to send that ball out. And it's a corner kick to St. Mary's. And speaking of the structure, I think Jerushan off the bench has been pretty good as well for St. Mary's. He's won most of his one-on-one battles in that midfield, and you need to do that, especially when you're down to 10 men, but it's been a real lack of structure, as you correctly said, Deshan, for Matara City Club. And rightfully so, couple of changes set to come. Mohammad Ruman and Tejan Pahansar Double change for Matara City.
Absolutely. So Mohammad Ruman coming in for Rusiru Lakshan, who was the man who saved that last effort very close to the goal. And also coming onto the pitch is Tejan Pahansara in place of Madhuka Shehan, who seems to have run his race. He was the rock in that defense. But as we head into the last 15 minutes or so in this game, it's apparent that they're looking to add a turn of pace and potentially get an extra man in the middle of the park where they've been run over as well.
Yes, and why not Deshan? It's not going to help them sitting back, especially at this stage of the game. 17 minutes left, 2 goals behind. Opposition asking all the questions. Might as well go for the kill and see what happens. And that's exactly what KD Lalit has done. He's rolling the dice. And we'll restart with a corner kick to St. Mary's. Looking to whip it in with his left foot. Sends it to the edge of the box, but first to it are the Matara City defenders, and the second attempt is not the best from St. Mary's rushing in. And here's the substitute adding that burst of pace. But again, a heavy touch from his forward has let them down. And St. Mary's easily winning possession. The amount of turnovers we've seen in this game, Deshan, so far. And a lovely ball over the top. Here's Premnath testing Rashmika Sampath. Manages to get a boot in the way. And that's another big chance for St. Mary's that's gone begging. Trying to win that second ball. They won it on halfway and they can build up once again. Here's Jerushan.
Prem Kumar there with a chance to bury this game. Hits it straight at the keeper. One would contend whether he should have looked for a pass. Once again, yet another run through. St. Mary's now with possession once again, given away and turned over immediately. Looking for support, Nimnika Charat. And the ball finding its way back again with the St. Mary's side. Here you go. Gumbari. A wayward pass and now an opportunity here. Ball coming in and a fantastic effort coming straight off the woodwork. Askar Talha from distance. I don't think Anikan even knew that that was going.
It's just glued to his spot there. Anikan thought it was going wide. But a lovely effort there from Ashkatala off the bench. Very nearly pulling one back for Matara City. And that's the closest they've come so far.
And a bout of cramp on the far side by the looks of it. For St. Mary's, I see it. They've done nothing but run their lungs out in this game. And very nearly Prem Kumar, just having another look at that, Prem Kumar, well, at least Gumbari would feel Prem Kumar should have found him. And here's a beautiful touch once again. Gumbari now looking for options, loses the ball, Ade would as well. And referee says no foul, and it didn't look like there was much in it from up here. Once again, ball turned over. St. Mary's, wave after wave of blue. Madhivadanan running it out of bounds, but Fantastic effort there by Isaac Adewu in defence. Throw in once again, Gumbari inside the box, and the ball worked out for a corner kick on that occasion by Tejan Pahansara, who's just come onto the pitch and has been given the task of marking the danger man. St. Mary's will take all the time they want. 78 minutes, just 12 minutes of regulation time left in this game.
Would really boost them, isn't it, Deshan, if they are able to add a third. Here's Loyas looking to swing it in once again. This time Matebu contested for that one, but jumping higher was Isaac Adewu, who's been pretty good in defense despite a shaky day for his team. And buying his side a couple of seconds and just snuffing out that counter attack, putting the ball out of bounds for a throw into Matara City. But just 12 minutes left in this game. Anything can happen still. But all signs point into St. Mary's just seeing this one out now. Matara City, barring a couple of flashes, haven't really produced an attack of note. But can they change that in this last 10 minutes? Can afford to go up a gear. They've got fresh legs on the park as well. But that was good from OK Matebo. He's been on the park for all 80 minutes. Running back once again to get that clearance in. And that's the sort of intent that we've seen from St. Mary's. And that's the sort of intent that sees them up in this game.
And now, throw-in comes in. Opportunity with the ball inside the box. And the ball sent in very nearly, but cleared fantastically well. Gumbari trying to hold on to it, doesn't manage to do so. Tejan Pahansara finds his teammate, and now Matara City looking for it, but just a bit too much on it for Mohammad Ruman. As we roll into the 80-minute mark, 10 minutes to go in this game. Prem Kumar chasing after this one. Tejan Pahansara watches the ball roll out of bounds.
Prem Kumar takes it quickly. Getting past his man, there was Marison. The clearance coming in, but still St. Mary's with the throw-in in their favour.
And now once again St. Mary's, they love having the ball on this end of the pitch, Nathan. Far away from their goal as they win this throw-in, and with a 2-goal cushion, they'd want to roll away and make the time pass as fast as they can. And what's the famous saying? When you're defending a lead, it's the longest few minutes of your life, but when you're chasing one, it's the shortest few. So that's exactly what's planning out here. And now an opportunity to get the ball back into the box, taking his time. Touch, cross comes in. And once again, although that did not amount to anything, it is indeed concerning that Matebo was able to get that ball uncontested almost, to get to that ball uncontested almost.
It all boils down to that lack of communication, isn't it, Deshan? They're not marking their own man. They're all confused, these Matara City defenders. And like you said, we're into the territory of the game now where St. Mary's can just afford to run the clock down slowly but surely. Really just strangle Matara City. And with the 2-goal cushion as well, you can just afford to soak up some of that pressure, because even if you concede one, you still have 1 goal. And here's Anikan rushing out to punch that away. And the follow-up effort was well defended there by Matebu. It's been really good in defense all game for St. Mary's. Finally the clearance coming in. Only as far as a Devu though. But Gumbari, 83rd minute, still right in the faces of the Matara City players. He's got 4 lungs on him.
Absolutely. Gumbari has been fantastic, and he showed not just fantastic ability in terms of ability with the ball, but he's also been amazing in terms of his pressing. He's been hurrying his defenders and really forcing them to have to make decisions, and sometimes that's what it's all about. It's about giving the opposition the need to make a choice, and sometimes you'd hope that they'd make the wrong one. As you can see, the coaching staff not very pleased with how things are going so far for Matara City. And I think another bout of cramp potentially. These conditions, as discussed earlier, not easy conditions to play in, particularly given the level of humidity in the air here in Colombo. A small chit-chat between Anikan and his compatriot on that occasion, Metabo. He's been a rock at the back for St. Mary's and has given him the freedom, or well, has given them the freedom rather, to really pursue a result and to go on these waves of attacks as well.
Yes, certainly, Deshan. Sometimes they've just had only him at the back as well. I love the rest of his backline. We were speaking a while earlier about how the fullbacks have rushed up, and when you have solid players in those centre half positions like Metebo, like Nitashan, you can really afford to do that. Both centre halves have had a good game for Matara City. I beg your pardon, St. Mary's, as they've won yet another turnover in midfield. Here's Gumbari. Out-muscling couple of his opponents on that occasion, and nothing cross really. Nestled by Rashika Sampathi into the final 5 minutes now here at the Colombo Racecourse. Matara City still desperately looking for their first goal, and they've turned it over in midfield. Again, St. Mary's. Here's Premanath. Turn in. Needs to release the ball to Gumbari. Just got caught in the turf there, his foot. And Adevu quick to pounce on it and try and send his team up the right part of the field. It's a bit scrappy from Matara at the moment. And St. Mary's, even in the 86 minutes, still sharp. As Adevu this time has gone down probably with some cramp. He's been working really hard for his team.
Prem Kumar there, just saying that Isaac Adevu should maybe get up and get on with things. And here's a fantastic ball once again for St. Mary's, looking for an option out wide, and yes, they found one. Nafil looking for that yard of pace and taken out there, and the referee says nothing doing. Just having another look at that one, gets past Mohammad Ruman and then tries to get past Nimnaka Chirat, I believe, but clobbered due to his efforts.
But he'll milk this, isn't it, Deshan? Especially with 87 minutes past. This is probably exactly what St. Mary's needed. Just a chance to shave a couple of seconds off the clock, and that's exactly what they're doing. A really good result for St. Mary's. A win and a draw in their first 2 games. They would have taken that if you'd had offered that to them at the start of the season. Matara, on the other hand, having won this competition plenty of times, a 5-0 defeat to Police and now a 2-0 defeat, yet to yet to even score a goal in this competition. Matara City Club. As Jasmine gets his fresh legs on the park for this last 5 minutes or so. John Kelsey onto the park. Will be followed by Abhinesh and Sebastian Arul. And that's an end. That's an end of the game for Lawyers and to Gumbari, two workhorses for St. Mary's. Have really put in an effort, and it's a well-deserved breather for the two of them. But yes, Morrison, the goal scorer, whipping in another free kick, getting on the end of it was Jerushan.
It's another corner. And another opportunity now to swing the ball into the box and put Matara City under pressure. They've just not been at the shops today, Matara City. And it's shown very clearly in the way this game has panned out as a cross comes in here for St. Mary's. Ball coming in and a very good opportunity once again. Matebo will be disappointed he couldn't get that to test the goalkeeper.
Matebo has slipped past the Matara City defense of those set pieces yet again. Getting another header on target, winning his side another corner, but we've seen him do that 3 or 4 times in this game so far. He'll be ruined the fact that he's not on the score sheet. Into the final minute of normal time. Another corner for St. Mary's. Morrison stands over it as another couple of substitutions for Matara City. Bit too late, you could say, as Morrison whips that one in. This time overcooks it. And ball just runs out. Matebo doing the right thing, allowing the ball to run out, allows his team just to shave a few more seconds off the clock as the official signals 5 additional minutes at the end of this. And St. Mary's exactly where they want to be.
And even as we roll in to added time, Nathan, what is evident is the level of urgency shown by St. Mary's. And the ball comes in. Here's an opportunity. A hopeful one. Not quite catching it very cleanly, but another man down there for Matara City. And the referee calling for some support. And that's Isaac Adevu.
He's been really labouring through this second half, hasn't he? He's gone down a few occasions now. Probably would serve him best to give him a breather. Doesn't look like there's a way back into this game for Matara now. Would much rather prefer one of your better players to be back next week with fresh legs than tie him out like this. But I don't think Coach Jasmine and St. Mary's will be complaining. That's just more seconds shaved off the clock. And hands on hips for KD Lalit on the touchline for Matara City. Nothing has worked for him today. Nothing has worked for him this season so far. 5-0 and 2-0.
And the thing is, you do feel for the coach because some of these things can't be coached. They come with mentality. The need to pursue those second balls relentlessly. The need to show intensity. Yes, there's an element of that is coached, but it needs to be inherent. It needs to be one of those things that the team as a whole feel like they need to do. Your teammates push you, and themselves on the same pitch, and that's what ideally should be happening at Matara City, but you're not seeing too much of that, unfortunately.
It's playing advantage there. The referee tries to touch it back inside, but Metebu on his opposite number just guiding that ball out for a goal kick. That's excellent. Protest for a corner, but I thought Metebu has done exceptionally there. Like you were saying, Deshan, some of these things that Matara City haven't been doing, you just can't coach it. Sometimes it has to come from within, and sometimes your players just need to rally around the coach and the backroom staff and say, we need to go out and win it for the coach or win it for the team. And that mentality looks like it is lacking in Matara City if what we've seen in the first two games is anything to go by.
Yeah, it is rather unfortunate, but that seems to be the case. And I think it's also so much more difficult . 15 seconds of added time. I'm sure we're going to have a slightly longer period of play owing to the fact that there was a stoppage due to an injury for Isaac Adewu. And that's that for your regulation plus added time, but the referee continuing to play on. Potentially the last phase of play here at the Racecourse International Stadium's first game for this week. Of course, as you know, the encounters this week are on Saturday, Sunday and Monday, not Friday, Saturday and Sunday, owing to the festive period. And that's it from here at the Racecourse International Stadium. St. Mary's winning the battle of the North and South in what was one of the most one-sided games, despite the scoreline not quite suggesting it. And Matara City, with it all to do and with a potential run to the drawing board in order to try and figure out what exactly they are doing wrong.
So convincing performance in the end from St. Mary's. They'll be jubilant, but Matara City have to go back to the drawing board. Results haven't come in the first 3 weeks of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League, as you have your full-time confirmation there. 2 goals to nil, a goal in each half for St. Mary's. And despite being down to 10 men for majority of this game, have looked really comfortable, looked untroubled really. And as a coach, Ratnam Jasmine just couldn't have asked for more from his players out there. They've all been brilliant. They've all stepped up. They've all run their hearts out. They've shown some great intent, have the lads from St. Mary's, and they are deserved victors here at the racecourse today as well. Back into action in the Sri Lanka Football Champions League, as you said, after the festive period. And smiles and handshakes all around for the men in blue today. What a performance it's been from them. So we take a look at some of the highlights from that second half. Lavani had a good game, but you have to say missed a couple of golden chances as well. This was probably the best of them, needed to hit the target there. That was right off the blocks in the second half. And then here, straight from the training ground, as Marison eluded everyone and just headed the ball in. Not much that Rashmika Sampath could have done about that. And here's Gubbari. He had an exceptional game. And a couple of chances came for Matara City, but just unable to capitalize on any of them, forcing a sharp save out of Anikan. That's the only time they tested him in this game. Hit the woodwork as well later on. But by and large, playing against 10 men, you have to say Matara City really had to create more. So take a look at more chances for St. Mary's. Scorecard could have been a lot different if they were just a bit more clinical. St. Mary's, you have to say, at least 3 to 4 golden chances that went begging for them. But nonetheless, they'll be really content. 2-0 win, down to 10 men for more than 50 minutes. And if you're a St. Mary's SC supporter, you couldn't really have asked for more. Notching up their first win, as this was the Talat hit in the woodwork.
Metobo. Interview 1 is with Metobo. They'll tell you. So they'll do it, no? They'll do it. No, you just have to be like, Navo this down.
Yeah, there you have the highlights and cheers ring around the race course here as the victorious St. Mary's side walk back into the changing room, and that kicks off week 4 of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League. 2-0 comfortable victory to St. Mary's, and in just a couple of hours time, Java Lane SC taking on Crystal Palace, and then tomorrow a couple of games, Solid SC take on Super Sun and New Star take on Serendib, and on Monday Moraga Smul locking ons with Police. That's bound to be a good game as Saunders take on SLTB to round off week 4 of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League. So plenty of action to come for this week. Don't take your eyes off the screens. Still got 5 more games to come this week. And action, football action all weekend. And like we said earlier, if you are in the vicinity, do head down to the race course. We've got a 4 p.m. kickoff and an 8 p.m. kickoff every weekend up until February. As these teams fight for the crown of Sri Lanka football.
check one mic testing one check one mic test one check.
So we'll head downstairs now to Navod, who has OK Mitobo share his thoughts on the game.
I have here with me the player of the match for today's game. St. Mary's is jersey number 29. Okay, Metaba. Okay, congratulations on the win as well as being named the player of the match. What do you think about today's game?
Yeah, today's game, even with the red card, we fought as a team. We fought as one. All credit to the coach, my coach. He did a very nice job. We worked all throughout last week and this week. It was a very difficult training for us to get the 3 points. Kudos to my teammates, my colleague, my skipper, the right back, left back, attackers. Short kudos to everyone. They helped me got the man of the match, not me myself. So it was really a tough game, a difficult one. 10 man down with 11 man is not really easy, but we fought through. At the end, we came out victorious. Good one.
Thank you and all the best for the next few games. අප සමග එකතු වෙනවා සෙන්ට් මේරිස් කණ්ඩායමේ පුහුණුකරු රත්නම් ජස්මින් පළවෙනි තරඟයේ ඩ්‍රෝ එකක් තමයි තිබ්බේ. දැන් මේ තරඟයේ ජයග්‍රහණය අනිවාර්ය වගේ තමයි තිබ්බේ. ඉතින් මොකද හිතන්නේ අද තරඟය ගැන 2-0ක් වශයෙන් තරඟය ජයග්‍රහණය කරා ගියවර ශූරයන් සමග. මොකද හිතන්නේ තරඟය ගැන?
දන්නතර මම නම් අද ගේම් එක හොඳයි. මොකද මේ 10 ප්ලේයර් එක සෙල්ලම් කරපු එක ඉතර ලේසි දෙයක් නේ. නමුත් අපි ඔපනන් ගැන හොඳටම අවබෝධයෙන් තමයි ආවේ. අපේ ටාගට් එක තිබුණා ගෝල් 4-5ක් විතර try කරන්න. ඇත්තටම හොඳට ට්‍රේනින් ගියා ඔක්කොම කරා. නමුත් මම දෙක්කේ මේ ස්ට්‍රයිකර්ස් ලාගේ පොඩි මිස්ටේක් එකකින් අපිට ගෝල් ටිකක් මිස් වුණා. anyway මේ කොම්බිනේෂන් නම් ටිකක් හොඳයි. ඩිෆෙන්සිව් වර්ක් ටිකක් ලස්සනට තිබුණා. ඒ නිසා තමයි අපි දැන් 2-0 එකට කොහොම හරි මේ මැනේජ් කරගෙන දිනුවා ඒක.
දැන් මේ තරඟයේදී දැකපු පොසිටිව්ස් මොනවාද? ෆොරින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා 3 දෙනෙකුත් අලුතෙන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන කණ්ඩායමට දැකපු පොසිටිව්ස් උයි ඊළඟ තරඟයවලදී ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගන්න ඕන ඒරියාස් මොනවා වගේ තියෙන්නේ?
මේ මම දන්න මේ අපි හිතුවේ මොකද මේ ෆොරින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා දවස් 10කට කලින් තමයි මේක අපිට ජොයින් වුණේ. මම හිතන්නේ මේ අර ස්ට්‍රයිකර් ජෝන්ට පොඩි ඉන්ජරි එකක් මත තමයි ආවේ. හැම්ස්ට්‍රින්ග් එක ඒකත් පොඩ්ඩක් බලපාන. මොකද එයාට ස්ප්‍රින්ට් කරගන්න අපහසුතාවයක් තිබුණා. නමුත් එයා scanning with the play is good. ඒ නිසා පොඩ්ඩක් මේ අඩුපාඩුවක් තියෙන එක ඉන්ජිරියස් හදාගෙන අපි යන්න දෙනවා. ස්ට්‍රයිකර්ස් කරන තමයි අපි ගොඩක් බලාපොරොත්තු හිටියා. නමුත් මේ මම හිතන්නේ next match අප ෆොරින් ස්ට්‍රයිකර්ස්ලා හොඳට කරයි කියලා මම බලාපොරොත්තු. මොකද first match නිසා මොකද මේ අපිත් එක්ක මේ කම්බිනේෂන් තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අඩුවක් තිබුණේ ෂෝට් පීරියඩ් එකේ. නමුත් දැන් okay we will organize.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි. ඉදිරි තරඟවල සුබපතනවා. අපත් සමග දැන් එකතු වෙනවා මාතර සිටි කණ්ඩායමේ සහාය පුහුණුකරු දමිත් සදේහන. දමිත් අද තරඟය ගැන මොකද හිතන්නේ? දැන් පළවෙනි තරඟයත් 5-0ක් වශයෙන් පොලිස් කණ්ඩායමට පරාජය වුණා. මේ තරඟයත් 2-0ක් වශයෙන් ගියවර ශූරයන්. නමුත් පළවෙනි තරඟ දෙකම පරාජයට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ තරඟය ගැන ඔබේ අදහස්?
ඇත්තටම මේ තරගය ගැන අපි සෑහීමකට පත් වෙනවා. මොකද අපේ සියලුම ක්‍රීඩකයන් අවුරුදු 25ට අඩු ක්‍රීඩකයන් තමයි ක්‍රීඩා කරන්නේ. පරණ සීනියර් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා 3 දෙනයි ටීම් එකේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ ෆොරින් ප්ලේයර් සමග. අපිට නෙක්ස්ට් වීක් එකේ අපේ අනිත් ෆොරින් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලා දෙන්නෙක් තව එනවා. එතකොට අපිට ටීම් එක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ නවකයොත් එක්ක යන නිසා අපි මේ අවුරුද්දේ උපරිම try කරනවා මේ ගෲප් එකේ කොහොම හරි අපි රැඳී සිටින. මොකද අපි නවකයොන්ට තැනක් දීලා තියෙනවා. අපේ පරණ සියලුම ක්‍රීඩකයන් දැන් වයස ඉක්මවා ගියපු නිසා උන් සියලු දෙනාම දැන් අයින් වෙලා නවකයොන්ට තැනක් දීලා මාතර ෆුට්බෝල් අලුත් දෙයක් කරන්න තමයි සෑම විටම අපි උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. ඒක නිසා අපි මේ පාර අලුත් ක්‍රීඩකයන්ගෙන් තමයි මෙම කණ්ඩායම අපි රැගෙන යන්නේ ඉදිරියට. අත්‍තරම අපිට අනුග්‍රහයක් දක්වන අපේ ඩීන් බ්‍රදර්ස් මහත්තයා නජිබ් ඩීන් මහතා ඔහු ඉතාමත් ආදරයෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් මතක් කරනවා. මොකද අපිට සෑම විටකම උදව් කරා 2011 ඉඳලම අපි ක්‍රීඩා කරපු කණ්ඩායම මාතර සිටි කියන්නේ 2011 ඉඳලා ඩිවිෂන් 3 එකේ චැම්පියන් වෙලා කොහොම දිගටම අපිට උදව් කරේ ඩීන් බ්‍රදර්ස් ආයතනයෙන් අපේ නජිබ් මහත්තයා. ඒක නිසා අපි ඇත්තටම සතුටු වෙනවා අපේ කණ්ඩායම අද 2-0කින් මෙම තරඟේ නිමා වුණ එක. නමුත් අපිටත් සෑහෙන අවස්ථා ලැබුණා මේ ගෝලයක් ලබා ගන්න. නමුත් අපේ අවාසනාවද දන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා ඊළඟ මැච් එක ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න කොහොම හරි අපේ අනිත් ප්ලේයර්ස්ලාත් එක්ක ඉදිරියට යන්න.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඉදිරි තරඟවල සුබපතනවා.
So Navo down there with two men who will be extremely delighted with what unfolded over the past 90 minutes. Okay, Matobo and the coach Ratnam Jasmine, who's played an absolute blinder today from the touchline, and one man who will be really disappointed with his team's effort today, KD Lalit, coach of Matara City Club, has taken another look at your fixtures. So do stay tuned to us. We have one more game coming your way in just an hour or so. Java Lane Sports Club taking on Crystal Palace FC, and double headers on Sunday and Monday to round up week 4 of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League. So that will be that then from the Colombo Racecourse. Game 1 of week 4 of the Sri Lanka Football Champions League. St. Mary's with a comfortable 2-0 win over Matara CC, but don't go too far. We've got plenty of games set to come your way tonight and this week as well. Thank you for joining our live coverage of this Game 13, the Sri Lanka Football Champions League.